In this video, we're going to turn this into a microphone, actually into two microphones. This model of telephone was produced by SAP, which is now Telecom Italia, around the 1960s and stayed in Italian homes until the 1990s. Of the entire phone, the part we're interested in is the handset. In the lower part, we find a carbon microphone that uses carbon granules for its operation, and in fact, if you shake it near your ear, you can clearly hear them. The carbon microphone was invented in the second half of the 19th century, and thanks to its durability and low production costs, it continued to be used in various applications for over 100 years. This carbon microphone will be the first of the two microphones in our project. At the top, we find a dynamic speaker which, like all dynamic speakers, can also be used in reverse as a microphone. This will be our second microphone for the project. I don't know the impedance or output voltage of either the speaker or microphone, but considering the type of sound we're aiming for, that's not a problem. The frequency responses of both are quite limited, just enough to make speech understandable. Additionally, both have a lot of distortion, but for the sound we're going for, that's exactly what we need. Although it's possible to do so, for the sake of simplicity in our project, we won't be able to use both microphones at the same time, so we need to choose which one to use. However, to let you hear the differences between the two, we're going to make two different microphones using two handsets. This is the phone's circuit diagram. The highlighted parts are the connections we're interested in, which, as you can see, are inside the casing. So let's start by disassembling the phone. Here are the tools we need: screwdrivers, a soldering iron, solder, scissors, a helping hand, and mil XLR connectors. Loosen two screws. Lift up the casing. Loosen the clamps that hold the handset in place and separate it from the rest. Cut the clamps and strip the wires. This is the moment to choose which part of the handset to turn into a microphone. If we choose the blue and red pair, we'll be using the speaker. If instead we use the red and white pair, we'll be using the carbon microphone. Let's start with the red-blue pair. Let's take apart an XLR connector and tin the contacts. Before starting with the soldering, let's slide the connector base onto the cable. With the help of a third-hand tool, let's continue with the soldering. Of the XLR converter pins, we're going to use number 2 and number 3. Connect the red wire to pin 2 and the blue wire to pin 3. Cut off white wire, we don't need it. That's the first microphone done. Now repeat the same process for the other handset, but this time use the other pair of wires. Here, solder the white wire to pin 1 and the red wire to pin 2. Now that we've made the microphones, let's move to the studio and listen to how they sound. The microphones are connected. Let's start by listening to the first one.
Quello che state sentendo è lo speaker della cornetta convertito in microfono dinamico. In questo momento stiamo passando per il pre del banco, dove stiamo dando all'incirca 40 dB di guadagno. Non stiamo utilizzando la Phantom. Come sentite, la distorsione è molto alta e la risposta in frequenza è abbastanza limitata. Questo è il microfono a carbone, stiamo ancora passando attraverso il pre del mixer, dove stiamo dando 15 dB di gain. Il microfono a carbone è di tipo resistivo e come tutti i microfoni resistivi ha bisogno di un'alimentazione esterna per funzionare. Stiamo quindi dando la Phantom. La distorsione, come sentite, è abbastanza alta e anche in questo caso la risposta in frequenza è filtrata.
It's clear that the characteristics of these microphones don't allow for everyday use in a production setting. However, they do leave plenty of room for creativity, both in music and in post-production environments.